Hi there, welcome back to Wednesday weaving, or weaving on Wednesday, or whatever you want to call it, but since it's Wednesday and since we're weaving, it could be either. Following on to what we looked at last week, this week I'm going to just take you through some of the basics of weaving with two shuttles. If you look at the warp as I've threaded it here, you can see I have two sections in the warp that are multicolored. The first section, I have two red, two white, two red, two white. And in the other multicolored section, I have one orange, one white, one orange, one white. So slightly different application for both of those. Now, we're going to start off with weaving with two shuttles if you're weaving two picks of the same color. So we're going to just start off in the upshed. And I'm going to continue with my orange and my white. So my orange shuttle is already in place, with the tail coming out on the left-hand side of the shed. Now I'm going to take my white shuttle in from the right-hand side to the left, and I'm simply going to put my hand underneath that orange thread to catch that shuttle. And it automatically brings the white shuttle out underneath the orange that is in place. Change my shed, and now I can bring my white shuttle back again because we're weaving two picks white and two picks orange. And you can see on this side that that orange thread is caught in the loop of the white. Back to the upshed, and it's the turn of the orange to come through. To put my hand underneath that white thread, and as the orange shuttle comes through the shed, I'm going to bring it out so that the white is running over it, and that means that the orange is in exactly the right position for me to put the shuttle back. And that little white thread is caught in the loop of the orange, and it's going to be carried on up the selvage. So you'll notice that when I put my second color in, I put it in from the side of my weaving that was opposite to the side where the tail of the other shuttle was lying already. If I had put my second color in from the same side where the tail of that first color was lying, I would have only made these little twists on one side of my weaving, and that actually stands out sort of quite strongly as a visual point of reference. If you put your shuttles in from opposite sides, you get those twists on both sides of your weaving, so it just gives you a better visual balance. But from the point of view of efficient weaving, if you're weaving two picks of one color and two picks of another color, the easy thing to do is simply to put your hand under the tail of the opposing color and bring the shuttle out underneath that. Now we're going to change things out a little bit, and we're going to weave one pick of one color and one pick of the other color. And this becomes a bit more specific. So I'm going to simply weave one pick of the orange. And I'm going to change my shed. Now what I need to do is I need to check the position of my selvage thread. If my very outermost selvage thread is up, which is the case here, then the shuttle going into the shed, which is the white, must cross over the shuttle that has just come out of the shed. Now I'm going to put the orange to take that return row. You'll notice that when I'm weaving one pick of one color and one pick of the other color, I don't put my hand under the opposing color to receive the shuttle. I simply bring the shuttle out of the shed, I change my shed, and I check the position of the outermost selvage thread. In this case, that thread is down, so my white must go in underneath the orange, which has just come out of the shed. The other thing that you need to know is that if you know that when you change your shed, your selvage thread is going to be up, so the colour going into the shed must go over the colour that's just come out of the shed. If you know that that is going to be the case, then the shuttle that has just come out of the shed can lie behind the shuttle that is going into the shed, and that automatically crosses the one yarn over the other. On the other side of our weaving, it's slightly different. So as my orange comes out of the shed, I'm going to change my shed, knowing that as I change my shed, my selvage thread is going to be down, so the white must cross underneath the orange. And in that case, if I know that my crossover has to go under the colour that has just come out of the shed, then I take the shuttle out of the shed and put it in front. Okay. The position of your selvage threads is not going to change. So we know now that on my right-hand side of the weaving, my selvage thread, when my heddle is in the up position, is going to be down. We know that on the left-hand side, when I change my shed, the selvage thread is going to be up. So it becomes automatically a routine that you place your shuttles in the correct place. So that's my short little tip for this week. Remember, if you're weaving 2 picks of one colour and 2 picks of another colour, your shuttles, when you bring yours, if you're weaving 2 picks of one colour and 2 picks of another colour, when you bring your second colour in, you need to bring it in from the side that is opposite to the side where the tail of the first colour is lying. Then you simply put your hand underneath the tail of the first colour and cross it over and receive your shuttle under the loop, and it automatically gives you the correct crossover. If you're weaving 1 pick of one colour and 1 pick of the other colour, you bring your shuttle out of the shed, change the shed, check the position of your selvage thread in the warp, and that tells you whether the colour going into the shed must cross over or under the shuttle that has just come out of the shed. If the shuttle going into the shed needs to cross under the shuttle that has just come out of the shed, then the shuttle coming out of the shed lies in front of the shuttle going into the shed. And if the shuttle going into the shed has to cross over the shuttle that has just come out of the shed, then the shuttle coming out of the shed must lie behind the shuttle going into the shed, and that gives you the automatic crossover. So it takes a little bit of getting used to and a little bit of a thought process, but once you get that one under your belt, it will save you a tremendous amount of fussing and stressing about your selvages when you're weaving with more than one shuttle. And can you see how neat that little selvage is there? Neat little twists that are uniform, and they're going to continue exactly like that for as long as I choose to weave this particular sequence. I hope this helps. If you found this useful, please give me a thumbs up. A little bit of liking helps everybody along the way, as we well know. If you'd like to subscribe to the channel, just hit the subscribe button. That would be fantastic. And the links to my website, my Patreon page, my Instagram are all just underneath the name of the channel. You'll see a tiny little tab there that says extra links, and you'll find the links to my Patreon page, my Instagram, and my website, and my Facebook group. All of those links are there for you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.